There comes a moment in life when you realize confidence isn't a personality trait, it's a weapon. Not the loud, shallow confidence of empty bragging, not the fake smile you put on to look strong. I'm talking about quiet power, a presence that enters a room before you speak, a belief so deep it rearranges the world around you, dangerously confident. The kind of confidence that doesn't seek permission, doesn't wait to be chosen, doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. Maybe you're here because you're tired of doubting yourself, tired of shrinking, tired of feeling capable but never stepping into your full power. Maybe you've been underestimated, not because you lack ability, but because you haven't unleashed it yet. This is the turning point. This is where uncertainty burns off, where hesitation dies, where you stop wondering if you're enough and start acting like you were built for greatness. Today, a new identity begins to form, one forged not by fear, but by inner certainty. Take a breath. This is not motivation, this is transformation. Welcome to your next evolution. Chapter 1. The spark that changes everything. There comes a moment in life when the world falls silent around you, and all you can hear is the sound of your own truth. Faint at first, trembling like a flame in the wind, yet undeniably alive. A moment when you feel deep in your bones that something has been waiting inside you, something strong, something untamed, something the world hasn't seen yet. And maybe right now as you listen, you feel that flicker. Not loud, not dramatic, a quiet pulse beneath your ribs, a whisper that says, I am meant for more than this. Most people ignore that whisper. They drown it in noise, in fear, in distraction, in the comfortable routines that keep them safely invisible. But you didn't ignore it. You came here, you pressed play, and that small act, that single decision, is the first hint of power waking inside you. This is not the chapter where you become someone new. This is the chapter where you finally decide to stop running from who you already are. Confidence does not arrive as a gift. It doesn't fall from the sky like rain or appear because someone believed in you. Real confidence rises from a moment just like this, a moment when you stop pretending you don't feel called to more. Pay attention to this feeling. It is the first spark of self-belief, not the loud, ego-fueled version that demands attention, but the deep, grounded kind, the kind that starts with a single truth. I am not here to shrink. For years, maybe a lifetime, you've carried potential quietly. You've had flashes, small victories, glimpses of who you could be, moments when your strength slipped through without permission, a bold choice, a powerful thought, a voice that suddenly didn't sound uncertain. Then life pushed back, a doubt, a criticism, a failure that stung deeper than you expected. And slowly, without noticing, you lowered your voice, you shrank your dreams, you tucked away your brilliance as if it were too heavy to carry. But here's the truth most people never realize. Confidence is not the absence of insecurity. It is the decision to rise anyway, again and again, until doubt learns it has no power here. Every person you admire, every powerful presence you've ever encountered, once stood exactly where you stand now, not fearless, but choosing not to bow to fear. So let's begin by stripping away a lie many people live and die believing. You do not become confident by being ready. You become confident by moving before you feel ready. Readiness is a myth created by hesitation. Confidence is a muscle built through action, repetition, and self-respect. So let's step into your story, not with arrogance or forced positivity, but with quiet truth. You have doubted yourself long enough. You have watched others walk boldly while you held your breath, hoping your moment would arrive on its own. It won't. Because confidence doesn't arrive, it is claimed. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff, overlooking a vast horizon. The wind is cold, the drop beneath you is steep, and behind you lies the familiar world you've always known, safe, predictable, ordinary. Ahead of you, possibility, uncertainty, freedom. Most people will turn back, not because they cannot jump, but because they never learned to trust their wings. You are here to learn that trust, not blind confidence, not reckless bravado, but a grounded, powerful belief that grows from choosing yourself even when the world hasn't chosen you yet. And we start here with acknowledgement, not "I am confident," not yet, but "I am becoming, I am rising, I am stepping forward even if my voice shakes." This is the soil where unshakable confidence grows, in honesty, not denial, in courage, not perfection, in motion, not waiting. Let's return to that whisper inside you, the one that refuses to die. It has survived disappointment, judgment, and fear. It has waited through every season of doubt, and it is still here. That is not weakness. That is proof. Proof that your spirit has always known its direction, even when your mind couldn't see it. Confidence starts not with proof of success, but with proof of endurance. You are still here, still searching, still wanting more than a half-lived life. That alone is strength. That alone is potential waking up. So breathe. Feel the moment settling inside you, the moment you stop asking for permission to grow, the moment you decide to participate in your own becoming. From this point forward, we walk together, not to fabricate confidence, but to uncover the confidence that has always been yours. Not to pretend you are fearless, but to teach you to move with fear beside you, instead of behind you. Not to change who you are, but to introduce you to the version of yourself you've been waiting to meet. And now, as this first chapter draws to a close, remember this: confidence is not the flame, it is the spark. And sparks do not stay small when oxygen reaches them. The breath you just took was oxygen. The awareness you feel now is ignition. And in the next chapter, we begin feeding that fire, not with hope but with action, identity and choice. You have stepped onto the path, and the path is already reshaping itself beneath your feet. When you're ready, we move forward into the moment where hesitation finally learns it no longer lives here. Chapter 2: Meeting Yourself Without Fear. There is a quiet, sacred moment that arrives when the noise of the world fades, and you are left alone with the truth of who you are. No roles to play, no masks to hold up, no expectations pressing against your chest, just you. Unfiltered, unedited, undressed from the identity the world convinced you to wear. Most people never reach that moment, not because life never offers it, but because they rush to fill the silence before it can reveal anything real. They turn on a screen, they open a feed, they run toward distraction so fast that their own soul can't catch up. Why? Because meeting yourself without excuses, without armor, without performance, is unsettling. It's raw. It's humbling. It's honest. And honesty can feel like standing in front of a mirror in the dark, waiting for the truth to slowly come into focus. But this chapter right here is where you step toward that mirror, not with fear, but with intention. Confidence begins not in what you show the world, but in what you can face within yourself. See, confidence is not built on pretending strength. It is built on embracing your humanity, on acknowledging your strength without shrinking, on admitting your weaknesses without shame. To grow beyond who you've been, you must be brave enough to meet who you are, as you are. Let's pause right here, not to stop, but to feel. Feel the weight of the emotions you've been carrying. Feel the little fears tucked behind your chest. Feel the unfinished dreams, the hidden potential, the quiet frustrations. These aren't flaws, they are signals, they are invitations, they are chapters of your becoming, waiting to be read rather than discarded. Imagine standing at a river's edge. The water is still, like glass. You kneel, you look down, expecting to see only your reflection. But instead, you see depth, layers of who you've been, who you are, who you could be. That's what self-awareness feels like. Not judgment, recognition, not criticism, clarity. not shame awakening. You cannot build dangerous, unshakable confidence on the foundation of denial. You build it on truth. Truth about your strength. Truth about your flaws. Truth about the stories you've been telling yourself and the ones you're now rewriting. And here's something most people never realize. Self-understanding is not self-criticism. Self-acceptance is not self-surrender. You can love who you are and still demand more from yourself. You can acknowledge your pain and still rise beyond it. You can look at your reflection and say, I see you, and we are going to grow. That is the beginning of power. Not the loud power that tries to impress the world, but the quiet power that changes it. Now let's talk about the identity you've carried. The labels you accepted before you knew you had a choice. Shy, not enough, too much, average, unqualified. These labels didn't come from truth. They came from moments. Moments of embarrassment, moments of doubt, moments when someone else's voice sounded louder than your own. Today, you begin reclaiming your voice. Confidence is not built by erasing the past. It is built by refusing to let the past define the future. You are not the shy kid anymore. You are not the failure you once feared becoming. You are not the mistakes that tried to shape your identity. You are a work in motion. And motion means evolution. So ask yourself, gently, sincerely, who am I becoming? Not who should I be for them. Not who did they expect me to be. Who am I becoming for me? Close your eyes for a moment, not literally, but within your awareness. Look at yourself through the eyes of possibility, not memory. The person you're becoming is already stirring inside you. You can feel it. A quieter mind, a firmer voice, a calmer presence, a stronger core. You're not trying to build confidence, you are discovering it, uncovering it, unburying it from years of doubt and hesitation. The world will try to tell you confidence starts when others applaud you. But the truth, confidence begins when you finally applaud yourself, when you stop begging others to see you and decide to see yourself. Right here, right now, make a silent vow, not to be perfect, not to be fearless, but to be honest with yourself and loyal to your growth. Say it inside your mind, I am allowed to become everything I once doubted I could be. That sentence alone shifts your future, because confidence isn't an act, it's a relationship with yourself. And this chapter marks the moment you begin that relationship with truth, instead of insecurity. You have taken the first step. You have stood in front of the mirror of awareness and stayed. That alone separates you from the world outside these words. Most people turn away. You didn't, and that changes everything. Now we move forward, not into the world yet, but deeper inward. Because the next chapter is where you begin to understand not only who you are, but who you were always meant to be. Prepare yourself. We are about to explore identity, and identity, when claimed, instead of inherited, becomes power. When you're ready, we turn the page. Chapter 3. The Identity You Choose. There comes a day in every life when you stop walking like a shadow of who you once were, and you begin to walk like the architect of who you're becoming. Not because the world gave you permission, but because your spirit finally refused to accept confinement. Picture yourself standing at a crossroads under a sky that feels heavy with possibility. Behind you, a road carved by other people's expectations, familiar, predictable, safe. Ahead of you, a path shrouded in uncertainty but shimmering with potential, like a forest unexplored, alive with whispers of what could be. This moment, right here, is where identity shifts. Not the identity you were handed, not the identity shaped by childhood pressures, societal molds, or voices that never understood your depth, but the identity you choose, consciously, powerfully, unapologetically. You are not here to inherit a life, You are here to claim one. The truth is, most people never realize they have that power. They live as echoes instead of originals, reacting instead of creating, shaped more by expectation than intention. They confuse personality with identity, routine with destiny, comfort with truth. But you are awakening, and awakening changes the rules. Confidence does not begin with ability, it begins with identity. Because the mind cannot outperform the self-image you hold. If you believe you are small, your actions will shrink to fit that belief. If you believe you are capable, your behavior rises to match that truth. You don't become confident because life gets easier. You become confident because you redefine who you are. So let's explore something powerful. Think back to the moments when you surprised yourself, when strength appeared in you without warning. Perhaps you defended someone. Perhaps you took a risk. Perhaps you spoke a truth you once swallowed. Those weren't accidents. Those were glimpses of your true identity breaking through the surface, like sunlight forcing its way through clouds. But confidence does not grow from flashes. It grows when those flashes become your foundation. When instead of waiting for moments of bravery, you begin to act from bravery as your normal state. Ask yourself now, not gently, but honestly, who have you been trying to be to make others comfortable? Whose approval have you been living for? Whose belief have you been borrowing instead of building your own? There is a quiet tragedy in this world. Most people shape their identity around fear, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of standing alone. They dim themselves to fit in rooms, never built to hold their light, and in doing so they trade authenticity for acceptance, not realizing acceptance earned through shrinking is not acceptance, it is surrender. But you're ready to break that pattern. You're ready to sculpt an identity that does not fold under scrutiny, but stands rooted in truth. Your confidence will not come from what you want to become. It will come from deciding who you already are. You are capable. You are growing. You are unfinished. And that is a privilege, not a flaw. You are not here to imitate confidence. You are here to embody it. Identity is not a mask you put on. It is a truth you grow into. So let's shift from who you were by default to who you are by design. Think of yourself as an author with a blank chapter in front of you. The pen is warm in your hand. Your heartbeat is the ink. Every decision you make from this point writes your story in real time. Will you write a character controlled by doubt, or one who moves through doubt with dignity? Will you write someone who waits to be chosen, or someone who chooses themselves daily? Dangerous confidence comes from internal allegiance, from choosing yourself when the world hesitates, from trusting your direction, even when the map is still forming. You are not waiting for life to hand you an identity anymore. You are stepping into the one that matches your potential, not your past. And in this exact moment, you are crossing a threshold. You are no longer just someone who hopes for change. You are someone who is changing. No applause, no spotlight, no audience, just you. Decide, and that is far more powerful than external validation could ever be. Take a breath. Feel the certainty settling into your bones. Identity is not a question anymore. It is a declaration. I choose who I am becoming. That sentence carries weight. Say it in your mind like a vow, because every future action will follow the identity you declare today. You have stepped from the world of reaction into the world of creation, and in the next chapter we begin shaping the behaviors and habits that transform this chosen identity into reality. You are not lost. You are not late. You are arriving fully, finally, fiercely. When you're ready, we continue forward, into action, into embodiment, into becoming the person your future is already waiting for. Chapter 4: The Quiet Power of Unapologetic Self-Belief. There comes a moment in every life when the world falls strangely quiet. Not because there is no noise around you, but because something inside you finally whispers, you can't keep living smaller than who you truly are. For some, this moment arrives in heartbreak, for others in triumph that feels strangely empty, and for many it comes on an ordinary day, a morning like any other, when you look at your own reflection and feel the undeniable truth rising in your chest. I am meant for more than the life I've been settling for. You feel it like a pulse, a quiet electricity beneath your skin, not a scream, not a roar, but a steady, unshakable hum. You are capable, you are worthy, you belong here. And yet, for most of your life, the world has taught you to apologize for believing in yourself, to dim your own brilliance so others don't feel insecure, to soften your words so no one labels you too ambitious, to shrink your dreams so they fit the shape of someone else's comfort. But there is a sacred turning point in your journey, right here, right now, where you choose a different path. You stop asking permission to live boldly. You stop waiting for approval to pursue what sets your soul on fire. And you finally learn the quiet, extraordinary power of unapologetic self-belief. Not arrogance, not ego, not noise or shouting, or insecurity disguised as confidence. True self-belief, the kind that does not need applause to know its worth. It's the calm in your bones when you stand alone but stand true. It's saying no to what drains you even when the world expects yes. It's choosing growth over comfort, truth over image, and your own voice over the noise of the crowd. True self-belief does not boast. It whispers, I am enough, and I am becoming even more. Think of the strongest people you've admired in life, or perhaps in history, or in your own memory. The ones who built dreams from dust, who walked through doubt and didn't crumble. None of them waited for the world to hand them permission to rise. They decided they belonged long before anyone agreed, and that decision shaped their destiny. Here is a truth many never discover. Life doesn't reward those who wait quietly for validation. Life responds to those who step forward, even when their voice shakes, even when their heart races, even when they're not entirely sure, but they move anyway. You already know this feeling. You felt it in moments when you dared to believe in yourself, even briefly, and your life shifted, even slightly. You spoke up, you tried, you stretched beyond the familiar, and in those moments, something inside you expanded, a doorway opening to a larger version of who you can become. Self-belief isn't loud, it isn't glamorous or dramatic. It's in the small choices, the quiet refusals, the steady perseverance. It is waking up and showing up again and again, even when no one applauds and no one sees. It is trusting that your potential is not fragile. It is waiting, like a seed beneath winter soil, for the season when you decide to bloom without asking whether the world prefers you as a seed. So today, let us strip away the polite apologies for wanting more. Let us shed the quiet guilt for dreaming bigger. Let us release the hesitation that whispers, "Who do you think you are?" and answer it with truth, with certainty, with dignity. I am someone who refuses to abandon myself, because that is what self-belief ultimately is. Loyalty to your own becoming, devotion to your growth, respect for your ability to rise. Listen, you don't need to force the world to believe in you. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. Your life is not a courtroom, and your destiny is not up for debate. Be the quiet warrior of your own story. Move with a gentleness that is rooted in certainty. Stand tall not because the world applauds you, but because your soul recognizes itself and refuses to bow. When you believe in yourself, truly, deeply, without apology, you stop chasing validation and start creating transformation. You stop playing roles and start living purpose. You stop waiting and start becoming. There will be moments of doubt, of course. There will be days when you question everything. Self-belief is not the absence of uncertainty, it is the refusal to surrender to it. When doubts come knocking, and they will, greet them like passing storms. not permanent truths. Let them wash over you, then let them go. You are not the person you once were. You are not limited by the fears you inherited or the opinions you absorbed. You are the unfolding story of courage, written one small decision at a time. And right now, in this chapter of your life, something sacred is happening. You are shedding the version of yourself that needed permission to exist fully. You are stepping into the strength that has always been waiting for you. You are learning that greatness does not begin with talent or certainty. It begins with belief. Quiet belief, steady belief, unapologetic belief. Let the world take its time to understand you. Let your progress speak louder than your explanation. Let your actions become the proof of your potential. Because the truth is simple and powerful. When you believe in yourself, you don't need the world to open doors for you. You learn to build your own. And now, as we prepare to move forward, feel the quiet fire rising inside you. Not frantic, not desperate, not loud, but steady, certain, alive. You are not here to tiptoe through life, hoping not to disturb anyone. You are here to grow, to rise, to live fully, and to honor the magnitude of who you are becoming. And the next chapter will take you even deeper into that becoming, into the art of turning self-belief into action, into creation, into reality. Take a breath. Stand taller. This journey is only beginning, and so are you. Chapter 5. The Discipline of Becoming. There is a moment, subtle but powerful, when desire transforms into duty. When dreams stop being distant stars you wish upon and become ground you are determined to walk, step by step, breath by breath. And that moment arrives the day you realize you will never become who you are meant to be by wishing for it. You will only become it by working for it. Discipline is not punishment, it is devotion. It is the quiet, steady promise you make to yourself and keep, even when no one is watching, even when no one applauds, even when the world is sleeping, and you rise anyway. Think of the morning air before dawn, still, dark, quiet. Most people are dreaming, but a few souls are awake, moving, preparing, carving the future out of the stillness. Not because they feel like it, but because they are building a life that demands their effort before it rewards their comfort. That is discipline, the sacred agreement between the person you are and the person you are becoming. Discipline does not ask, "Do you feel ready?" It whispers, "Show up anyway." And in that choice, that simple, powerful choice, you separate your past from your potential. Maybe you've waited for motivation, waited for clarity, waited for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect circumstances. But life does not transform for the one who waits. Life transforms for the one who begins, even imperfectly, even slowly, even clumsily and uncertainly, because the truth is simple and liberating. Discipline is not about perfection, it is about consistency. Small efforts, repeated without drama, without doubt, without negotiation. A single disciplined action may feel insignificant in the moment. But discipline is a silent architect. It builds quietly, patiently, brick by brick, layer by layer, until one day you look around and realize you built a life you once only imagined. Remember this, it is not the grand gestures that reshape you, it is the daily decisions no one sees. The moments you say yes to growth and no to distraction, the days you choose to rise rather than retreat. Discipline is self-respect in motion, a declaration that you trust yourself enough to follow through. It is the refusal to negotiate with the version of you that settles, delays or doubts. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Growth always is. Transformation asks you to stretch, to strain, to step into unfamiliar territory. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you are meant to be, and bridges are built, not wished into existence. Think about a seed, buried underground, surrounded by darkness, pressure and weight. It does not complain, it does not question, it does not wait for ideal circumstances. it breaks itself open to grow. And in that breaking, it rises. So too will you. Not by hoping for ease, but by embracing effort. Not by fearing struggle, but by understanding that discipline turns struggle into strength. Every time you honor your commitments, even the smallest ones, you teach yourself something priceless. I can trust myself. And that trust becomes power. When you show up for your goals eventually show up for you. That is not magic. That is consistency. That is discipline working quietly in your favor. There will be days when your mind tries to bargain, days when your body feels tired, days when your spirit whispers, and rest is not the enemy. Avoidance is. True discipline includes rest without guilt, recharging without abandoning your path, stillness that prepares you to rise again with strength and clarity. Discipline does not confine you, it frees you. It frees you from regret, from self-betrayal, from the painful weight of unfulfilled potential. And here is a truth many never understand. Comfort is a cage disguised as safety. But discipline is a door that only opens from the inside when you decide you are ready to walk through it. Not for anyone else, not to impress or prove, but for yourself, for your becoming, for the life that quietly calls your name. You owe your future more than you owe your excuses. You owe your potential more than you owe your comfort. So choose discipline, not once, but every day, in 1,000 small ways that add up to a life you are proud to live. Show up when it's hard. Show up when it's dull. Show up when it's inconvenient. Show up when you don't feel seen or celebrated. Because the future is not built in moments of excitement. It is built in moments of commitment. And as this chapter comes to a close, let this truth settle softly, but firmly inside you. You are not waiting for discipline. You are becoming discipline. You are practicing the quiet art of honoring your highest self. And with each act of consistency, you carve a new identity, one choice at a time. In the next chapter, we will explore a force even deeper. The courage to let go of who you were, so you can fully step into who you are meant to be. For now, breathe in your strength, feel the ground beneath you, and know this, you are not just hoping for change, you are earning it. And that is the mark of someone truly becoming. Chapter 6. The Power of Strategic Isolation. There comes a moment in every powerful transformation when the world grows quiet. Not because it becomes quieter, but because you do. Imagine yourself walking into a thick, ancient forest. The air is still, the noise of the world fades behind you. The voices, the expectations, the endless noise of comparison and approval seeking. At first, there is uncertainty, even fear. Because silence exposes truths noise once protected you from. But stay in that forest a little longer. Stand still long enough to hear your own breath. Wait until the panic fades and something else rises. Clarity, strength, self-recognition. This is strategic isolation, the deliberate choice to step away, not to escape the world, but to reclaim yourself from it. Confidence does not grow in crowded rooms of opinions and expectations. It grows in solitude, in the stillness where your inner voice returns to you like a forgotten friend. The most confident people you will ever meet did not become that way by being surrounded. They became that way by walking away long enough to learn who they were without applause, without validation, without someone telling them they're enough. Isolation is not loneliness. Loneliness is when you are disconnected from others. Isolation, chosen isolation, is when you reconnect with yourself. Many people fear being alone because they do not know who they are without company, without noise, without performance. They fear meeting the parts of themselves waiting quietly beneath distraction. But confidence demands confrontation. You cannot become powerful while hiding from your own reflection. Think about it like this. A blacksmith does not shape steel in a marketplace. A seed does not sprout under bright public light. Transformation begins where eyes are not watching and voices are not judging. You do not become dangerously confident by announcing your growth. You become dangerously confident by disappearing long enough to build something inside yourself that no one can take from you. So ask yourself, honestly, when was the last time you sat alone without reaching for your phone, without filling silence with noise? When was the last time you allowed yourself to just be, without performing for the world? Real self-respect is born in the moments when you choose solitude instead of validation. When you shut the door not out of bitterness but out of devotion to your future. When you say, I am not afraid to be with myself because I am someone worth knowing. In isolation, you relearn your own voice. You rediscover your opinions, your desires, your dreams, unfiltered and unshaped by who you think you should be for others. The world will always tell you who to be if you do not decide for yourself. Isolation is where you reclaim that authority. It is where you peel away the expectations that cling to you like dust and remember the shape of your true identity beneath them. Do not rush this process. Alone time is not punishment, it is preparation. It is the sharpening of the blade before the battle. It is the quiet breathing before the leap. Some seasons are for building in silence. Some victories are earned when no one is looking. Some chapters of your growth require you to vanish, not to hide, but to evolve. People may misunderstand. They may ask where you've gone, why you're quieter, why you withdraw from conversations and places that once felt familiar. They might think you are losing yourself, but in truth, you are finding yourself. You are trading approval for alignment, noise for understanding, crowds for clarity. In isolation, you begin to hear your own compass again. You begin to ask different questions, deeper ones. What do I truly value? What do I actually want? What kind of life do I want to wake up to a year from now? And slowly answers rise, not from fear, but from truth. Isolation teaches you something that becomes unshakable. Your worth is not borrowed from the world, it is built within. When you return from this season, because you will, you are not meant to live in permanent retreat. You return different, your voice steadier, your decisions clearer, your presence grounded. People feel the change before you even speak, because the quiet forged you. This is why isolation is a power move. It is not running away, it is rising quietly. It is building a foundation, so solid that when you step back into the world, you do not bend to it, it bends to you. So do not fear stepping back. Do not fear being misunderstood. Do not fear the silence that comes when you stop seeking validation, because on the other side of that silence is sovereignty, is expansion, is a confidence that does not need to be announced. You are not isolating to be forgotten. You are isolating to become unforgettable. Take a breath and let that truth settle in your bones. Feel the strength of the maturity in it, the quiet power rising. You are stepping into a season of internal construction, and when you emerge, you will not be who you were. You will be someone stronger, clearer, untouchable. In the next chapter, we will explore what happens when you re-enter the world, armed not with noise, but with inner certainty. Because confidence is not proven in isolation, it is revealed when you return. For now, hold this truth close. Greatness grows in silence. And right now, you are growing. Chapter 7. The fire you choose to carry. There comes a moment in every warrior's life when the battlefield is quiet. No applause, no eyes watching, no wind pushing you forward, or storm trying to knock you down. Just you and the truth about who you've become. Listen closely, because this moment is happening now. In this stillness, you can almost hear your heartbeat, steady, strong, unapologetic. The confidence you're building isn't loud. It doesn't need to roar to be real. Dangerous confidence begins in silence, long before the world ever notices you. Think about fire. Some flames burn wild, bright, reckless, visible to everyone. But the most dangerous fire, it's not the one dancing on the surface. It's the ember glowing deep inside, quiet, controlled, waiting for the right moment to unleash its power. That ember lives in you. You've seen glimpses of it in the days you refused to quit, when quitting felt so easy, in the nights when doubt whispered louder than hope, but you kept moving forward anyway, in the small victories nobody noticed but you celebrated silently because you knew they meant something. Confidence is not built in the spotlight. It is forged in the unseen hours, in the decisions no one knows you made. And now, here you are standing at a turning point again. But this chapter, this moment, this breath, is not about who you were. It's about who you choose to become, deliberately, powerfully, without apology. Dangerously confident people are not fearless. They feel everything intensely: fear, doubt, pressure, expectation. The difference is that they don't run from those feelings. They make a home for them inside their chest and walk forward anyway. They don't wait for calm seas. They build steadiness inside themselves so the waves cannot break them. You must understand something deeply. Confidence isn't gifted. It isn't inherited. It isn't found by accident. Confidence is claimed, not in one dramatic moment, but in 1,000 tiny decisions, each one a spark, each one saying, "I am choosing myself again." Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something difficult just to prove to yourself that you could, not for validation, not for recognition, but simply to strengthen your own bones, your own spirit, your own belief in yourself? Because the truth is, the world respects a person who doesn't need to be seen to know who they are. Dangerous confidence is built privately, then revealed naturally. Imagine a mountain hidden in mist, silent, immovable, intimidating without effort. It doesn't announce its size. It doesn't explain its strength. It just is. You are learning to become that mountain. And here lies the paradox. The more self-assured you become, the less you need to prove. The more grounded you become, the less external approval matters. The stronger you feel inside, the calmer your presence becomes outside. Dangerous confidence isn't loud, it's undeniable. In this chapter of your life, I want you to remember something essential. You don't rise by force, you rise by choice. The choice to stop shrinking because others feel small. The choice to walk into rooms without folding your spirit to fit. The choice to breathe deeply, even when your chest feels tight. The choice to trust your voice, even when it trembles. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to always know what's next. You simply need to decide that you are worthy of taking up space, and then act like it. Confidence is built not by eliminating doubt, but by refusing to surrender to it. Think about every version of you that came before this moment. They all fought to bring you here. They endured. They learned. They faltered. They rose again. Honor them by continuing forward, not timidly, but with fierce intention. There will be days when you don't feel powerful, days when the fire feels faint, days when the world feels heavy and your steps feel slow. Those days are not signs of weakness. They are training grounds. They are invitations to earn your confidence again, to feed the ember instead of letting it fade. True confidence is not a mood, it's a commitment. You commit to the work. You commit to the discomfort. You commit to the growth, even when growth feels like loss and rebirth in the same breath. People will feel something different when they encounter you. Not arrogance, presence, not ego, certainty, not noise, conviction. They will see a person who built themselves from the inside out, and can no longer be shaken by whispers, opinions, or shadows of doubt. And here's a truth most never learn. You do not become dangerously confident by waiting to feel ready. You become dangerously confident by moving before readiness arrives, by letting your courage lead and allowing confidence to follow. So breathe, straighten your spine, set your shoulders, feel the weight of your purpose, settle into your body like armor. You are not here to tiptoe through life. You are here to stand grounded, move intentionally, and burn quietly with a strength that needs no permission. This is the fire you choose to carry, steady, fierce, unshakable. Let the ember inside you glow brighter now. In the next chapter, we step deeper into your transformation, into the art of commanding respect without asking for it, into the psychology of presence, into the energy that makes people turn their heads when you enter a room. But for now, hold this moment. You have begun to understand that confidence is not something you chase, it is something you build, breath by breath, decision by decision, belief by belief, and with every heartbeat, you are becoming someone the world cannot ignore. When you're ready, we continue. Chapter 8. When presence enters the room. There are moments in life when someone walks into a room and everything shifts. Conversation softens, energy changes, eyes turn without being asked to. Not because the person demanded attention, but because they carried something deeper than noise. They carried presence. Think about that feeling, the quiet electricity in the air when someone powerful arrives. No announcement, no theatrics, just a silent, undeniable gravity. That is not luck. That is not chance. That is cultivated, earned, chosen, and now you are learning how to create it within yourself. Presence is not about being seen, it's about being felt. The world has enough people trying to impress, enough shouting, posing, and performing. Truly powerful individuals don't chase attention. Attention naturally rises to meet them. Not because they seek validation, but because they exude certainty. Presence begins long before you step into a room. It starts in your mind, in the thoughts you feed, the energy you choose, the self-respect you refuse to negotiate. Your inner world walks ahead of you, arriving before your footsteps ever land. Imagine yourself standing outside a door to a room filled with people, opportunities, challenges, and eyes waiting to measure you. Most people hesitate there. They rehearse lines, they worry about opinions, they shrink before the moment even begins. But you breathe, you remember who you are, you align your spine with your purpose, you walk in not to be accepted, but to exist fully, truthfully, unapologetically. Dangerous confidence radiates from those who know themselves, not those who try to convince others. Presence is a decision, a choice to occupy your life rather than spectate from the shadows. When you enter a room, let your spirit walk in first, calm, steady, commanding without effort. You don't need to speak loudly, you don't need to force charm. Your energy speaks before you do. And here's the truth that many overlook. Presence is not built in grand moments. It grows in stillness, in quiet mastery of self, in the discipline to stay grounded even when the world tries to shake you loose. Presence comes from knowing you have survived things others never saw, worked when nobody clapped, endured when nobody supported you, built yourself from fractures and turned them into foundation. Your history does not haunt you, it strengthens you, it shapes your posture, your gaze, the calm within your breath. Your calm is powerful because you earned it. There is a sacred kind of power in non-reactivity, in not flinching when challenged, in not scrambling to prove your worth, in responding with clarity instead of ego. People feel that. They feel the security in your tone, the steadiness in your eyes, the lack of need to outperform or dominate, because nothing inside you is lacking. Presence is not loud dominance, it is quiet self-possession. Let others chase validation, let them rely on noise and theatrics. You are building something far stronger, a presence that does not flicker when the crowd turns away. Imagine sitting across from someone who truly sees themselves. They don't rush, they don't scramble, they don't inflate or shrink, they simply are. And somehow in their stillness, you find yourself breathing deeper too. Be that, not only for others, but for yourself. Your presence is a sanctuary you carry everywhere, an inner temple built from discipline, scars and self-trust. Walk into rooms like you belong there, not because you think you're better than anyone, but because you understand that belonging doesn't come from permission. It comes from self-recognition. You do not ask the world to validate you. You validate yourself by being rooted, honest, and aligned with who you are becoming. Remember this. Presence does not ask for attention, it simply receives it. Presence does not force respect, it commands it. Presence does not fight for space. It expands naturally into whatever space exists. When you walk into a room, you bring every lesson, every battle, every breath that has shaped you. You don't hide your history, you rise because of it. Let your silence speak louder than your words. Let your composure be your power. Let your authenticity be your introduction. Your presence is not a performance, it is the truth of your being. And when you live in that truth fully, without hesitation, without apology, you will notice something remarkable. People will lean in, not because you demanded their attention, but because you inspired their curiosity, not because you sought validation, but because you radiated certainty. Presence is magnetic because it is red. Now you are stepping into that rarity, becoming someone who moves with intention, speaks with purpose, and stands with quiet power. Hold this energy, let it settle into your bones. Feel the room you haven't even entered yet already adjusting to meet you. Because when you walk in with inner solidity, the world does not look at you to judge you, it looks at you to understand you. You are not here to blend into existence. You are here to alter the temperature of every space your soul touches. In the next chapter, we will explore the psychology of self-respect, the inner code that makes your presence undeniable and your confidence untouchable. But for now, breathe, stand tall within yourself, and remember, when presence enters the room, silence speaks, and the world listens. Chapter 9. The unshakable code of self-respect. There comes a moment in every life where the mirror stops being glass and becomes a battlefield. Not a battlefield against the world, but against the quiet decisions that shape who you are when no one is watching. Against the small compromises that slowly erode your identity. Against the voice inside that whispers, "Not today," when today is exactly when everything must change. You feel it, don't you? That subtle ache, the pull toward a life that demands more honesty, more integrity, more courage. Self-respect is not loud. It doesn't shout or boast. It doesn't need applause or permission. Self-respect is the quiet law you write inside your soul, and it governs everything that follows. There is a power in deciding who you will be, long before the world has an opinion about it. A power so steady, so rooted, that nothing external can shake it. And today, we step into that power together. Self-respect begins in the moments that seem small, when you wake and choose discipline over comfort, when you speak your truth even when your voice trembles, when you walk away from what disrespects your spirit, not because you're too good for it, but because your soul has grown too steady to tolerate what drains it. Think of a lion. A lion does not roar to prove it is a lion. It knows. The world knows. There is no need for noise. That is the essence of self-respect. A calm certainty in who you are and who you refuse to be. Every time you honor your boundaries, you say to the universe, "I am not here to be controlled by circumstance. I am here to direct my life with intention." Every time you choose your standards over temporary approval, you declare, "I am loyal to my future, not my fears." Self-respect is a promise you make to yourself. Never abandon who you are for who the world wants you to be. And yes, It will be tested. People will misunderstand you. Some will feel threatened by your growth. Others will try to pull you back into who you once were because your evolution challenges their comfort. But here's a truth many never learn until it's too late. When you rise in self-respect, you won't lose people who matter. You will only lose the ones who benefited from your lack of it. Do not mourn the departure of those who preferred a watered-down version of you. Do not grieve the comfort that once held you captive. Growth requires space. Boundaries create it. Self-respect protects it. Imagine your life as a sacred garden. Some things must be pruned. Some walls must be built. Some gates must remain locked, not out of fear, but out of reverence for what you are growing. You are not closed off. You are choosing where your sunlight goes. You are not difficult. You simply refuse to be stepped on. You are not cold. You are warm toward what nourishes you and firm toward what poisons your peace. This is the unshakable code. You do not negotiate your worth. You do not bargain with your value. You do not bend yourself into shapes that betray your truth. You stand, you speak, you honor yourself even when silence would be easier. And slowly the world learns how to treat you by watching how you treat yourself. Self-respect is not an armor, it's a spine. It holds you upright when life tries to bend you. It steadies you when emotions surge. It guides you when doubt whispers. And here is the most beautiful part. Self-respect does not isolate you. It attracts the right ones. People who see you clearly, people who match your effort instead of draining it, people who don't fear your strength. They appreciate it because a person who respects themselves becomes a mirror that inspires others to rise. Listen carefully now. There is a version of you that exists on the other side of self-betrayal, a version untouchable by insecurity, unbothered by comparison, unavailable for disrespect. That version is not created in one grand moment. It is forged in countless small, resolute choices. When you choose discipline over distraction, when you choose truth over comfort, when you choose growth over approval, when you choose yourself not selfishly, but sacredly. Every boundary you enforce becomes a brick in the temple of your life. Every standard you uphold becomes a light in the rooms you enter. Every time you stand firm, a part of you whispers, I am building someone no one else can break. And slowly, steadily, undeniably, you transform from a seeker of respect to the embodiment of it. Take a breath, feel that truth settle into your bones. You are not becoming harder, you are becoming clearer. You are not becoming distant, you are becoming decisive. You are not becoming arrogant, you are becoming aligned. This alignment, this loyalty to yourself, is the most powerful prayer your life will ever speak. In the next chapter, we will explore a deeper truth, how to guard your peace and protect your emotional landscape, so peace becomes your power, not your escape. But for now, hold this within you. You do not wait for the world to crown you. You crown yourself with the dignity of self-respect, and once you do, no one can take it away. Chapter 10. The Power of Emotional Sovereignty. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. Rain lashes against your face. Winds twist around you like invisible hands. The world feels chaotic, unrelenting, almost determined to sweep you away. Now imagine standing there, unshaken, calm, present, undeterred. Not because the storm has stopped, but because you have stopped giving it power over you. This is the essence of emotional sovereignty, the ability to remain grounded, steady, and free, no matter the turbulence around you. Emotional sovereignty is the crown of confidence. It is the invisible armor that separates the dangerously confident from the merely reactive. Those who master it do not allow fear, anger, or doubt to dictate their actions. They respond from a place of clarity, not chaos. And here is the truth many avoid. No one can truly control your emotions unless you hand them that control. No one can shake your foundation unless you permit it. The opinions, criticisms, and expectations of others carry weight only when you assign it. Think about the last time someone provoked you. Did you react immediately? Did your chest tighten, your mind race, your voice raise? Now imagine pausing in that moment, breathing, observing your own reaction, choosing your response deliberately. That pause, that still space between stimulus and reaction, is where your sovereignty lives. It's cultivated, not born. It begins with self-awareness, recognizing your triggers, your habitual reactions, your patterns of surrender. It deepens with practice, choosing reflection over reaction, understanding over judgment, and growth over gratification. It becomes unstoppable when aligned with purpose, knowing who you are, what you value, and where you will not compromise. People will test you, circumstances will challenge you, life will demand you surrender to chaos, frustration, and doubt. But emotional sovereignty is the quiet rebellion against giving your power away. It is the calm in the middle of conflict, the measured tone when everyone else shouts, the patience when impulses scream for attention. It is the invisible edge that makes you formidable, not through aggression, but through mastery of self. Let me give you an example. Imagine a boardroom full of powerful, demanding voices. Everyone is trying to dominate, to control the narrative, to assert superiority. A person without emotional sovereignty flinches, reacts, perhaps defends, or even overcompensates. They expend energy, lose clarity, and give the room influence over their state. Now imagine someone with emotional sovereignty. They observe, they breathe, they speak only when they choose to, with intention, precision, and authority. The room adjusts to them, not the other way around. Their calm becomes magnetic, their power undeniable. That is not magic, it is choice. It is deliberate cultivation. It is the decision to command your inner world, regardless of external chaos. Emotional sovereignty is not about suppressing feelings. It is not about becoming cold or detached. It is about recognizing your emotions as signals, not masters. It is about feeling deeply, fully, and truthfully, while refusing to be enslaved by those feelings. When you master your emotions, you no longer chase approval, validation, or fleeting pleasures. You operate from a state of self-possession, not self-doubt. You set standards for your own energy, your own attention, your own engagement. And the world, consciously or unconsciously, aligns with that authority. Every time you pause instead of reacting, you reinforce your sovereignty. Every time you choose perspective over impulse, you build resilience. Every time you respond instead of retaliate, you strengthen your inner power. This is the true heart of dangerous confidence, not aggression, not arrogance, not the pursuit of admiration, but the ability to navigate life with composure, clarity, and unstoppable presence, to move through challenges without surrendering your energy. To make decisions from a position of power, not panic, to live in alignment with your values, your vision, and your truth. It is quiet, it is steady, it is invisible, and yet it commands the world to recognize you. Begin with small moments. The colleague who tests your patience, the traffic that triggers frustration, the unexpected challenge that threatens to derail your day. Observe, breathe, respond consciously. Over time, these small exercises compound into a fortress of emotional mastery. And here is the final key. Emotional sovereignty is contagious. When you cultivate it, you influence others without effort. Your presence steadies rooms, your calm inspires confidence, your energy elevates those who encounter it. By owning your emotions, you own yourself. By owning yourself, you own your reality. So, as you step forward, remember this. The world will continue to provoke, to challenge, to demand. It will seek to bend you to its whims. But inside you there is a command center, a still, unwavering core that will never bow unless you allow it. This is the power of emotional sovereignty. And when you carry it, you do not merely survive life, you move through it with certainty, influence, and unstoppable force. In the next chapter, we will uncover how mastery over your emotions transforms every relationship, every decision, and every opportunity you encounter, turning your confidence into a force that is both magnetic and unshakable. For now, hold this truth in your chest. You are the keeper of your own emotional world. Your calm is your strength. Your clarity is your weapon. And your presence, grounded in sovereignty, is nothing short of unstoppable. Chapter 11. The Art of Irresistible Presence. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine walking into a room. The conversations pause, not because you demand attention, but because your presence commands it. There's a subtle gravity, a quiet intensity that makes others lean in without realizing why. It's not about what you say, or what you wear, or even the power you hold. It's about something deeper, something unspoken, undeniable, magnetic. This is the art of presence, and it is one of the most dangerous forms of confidence there is. Presence is not learned through techniques or tricks. It is cultivated through alignment of your thoughts, your energy, your intentions, and your emotions. When you are fully aligned, your very being speaks before words are ever uttered. The world is full of people who seek attention. They yell, they boast, they perform. Presence is the opposite. It is calm, intentional, and irresistibly compelling. People are drawn to it because it reflects something they recognize, but rarely see in themselves: clarity, integrity, and conviction. Let's explore why presence matters more than charisma or charm. Charisma can attract temporarily. Charm can persuade briefly. Presence, however, resonates on a deeper level. It lingers. It shapes perceptions without force. It subtly shifts dynamics, making you the center of gravity in any room, not through dominance, but through authenticity. Authenticity is the foundation. You cannot cultivate presence while hiding, pretending, or bending to the expectations of others. Your energy must be consistent, truthful, and fully owned. When you stop performing for approval and start existing fully in your power, presence emerges naturally. Imagine two people at a networking event. One talks loudly, trying to impress, gesturing excessively, seeking validation in every nod. The other listens intently, speaks deliberately, and maintains a quiet confidence in every word. Which one will people remember? Which one will people feel drawn to, even months later? Presence always wins. Presence is inseparable from self-mastery. You cannot command attention if your mind is scattered, your emotions are chaotic, or your energy is inconsistent. This is why all the lessons we've explored, confidence, self-respect, emotional sovereignty, converge here. They are the foundation upon which presence is built. Without them, presence becomes an illusion. With them, it becomes a force of nature. One of the most overlooked aspects of presence is listening. Truly listening. Not waiting for your turn to speak. Not calculating responses, but absorbing the energy, the intentions, and the emotions of those around you. A person who listens deeply radiates validation and understanding. They make others feel seen, and in making others feel seen, they command an influence far greater than any spoken argument or clever remark ever could. Presence is also about alignment with your body, your posture, your gaze, the rhythm of your voice. All must match the confidence you carry internally. A person who slouches, avoids eye contact, or speaks hesitantly undermines even the strongest internal power. Presence is the harmony between inner conviction and outer expression. It is the silent language that communicates, I am here, I am steady, I am unshakable. Now consider influence. People are drawn to presence because it reflects stability. It promises that this person is capable, grounded, and prepare. They don't just follow the words, they follow the energy. They are unconsciously saying, if this person carries themselves this way, perhaps I should pay attention, perhaps I should learn from them, perhaps I should trust them. Presence does not require domination. It does not demand control. It does not seek to overshadow. Presence allows you to inhabit space fully, move through it authentically, and impact the world without effort. Developing presence requires intentional practice. Start with stillness. Spend time alone, fully aware of your thoughts, feelings, and energy. Align your internal state with your outer expression. Practice speaking with clarity, walking with intention, and holding space for both yourself and others. Next, cultivate awareness. Notice how your energy affects others. Observe where your influence is magnetic and where it falters. Refine it continuously, with patience, humility, and attention. Finally, embrace authenticity above all. Do not fake, do not perform, do not mimic. Presence cannot exist without truth. It thrives only where there is integrity, courage, and self-possession. Remember this: presence is contagious. It inspires confidence in others. It elevates conversations, shifts group dynamics, and transforms ordinary interactions into moments of impact. When you embody presence, you become the axis around which opportunity, respect, and influence naturally revolve. As we move to the final chapter, consider this: presence is the culmination of everything we've explored. It is the living, breathing expression of confidence, self-respect, emotional mastery, and unshakable authenticity. It is not something you acquire externally. It is something you embody, moment by moment, choice by choice. In the next chapter, we will tie together all the lessons, revealing how to integrate them seamlessly into your life, to become a person whose confidence, presence, and power are not only undeniable, but enduring. For now, carry this thought in your heart: you do not create presence by seeking approval. You create presence by embodying truth, by aligning fully with your values, by showing up as the most authentic version of yourself. And when you do, the world cannot help but take notice. Chapter 12. Living Dangerously Confident. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing at the edge of everything you've ever wanted. Beneath you, uncertainty; above you, possibility; around you, the quiet hum of opportunity waiting to be claimed. And in this exact moment, the only thing between who you are now and who you are destined to become is the confidence to leap. This is the culmination of our journey. All the lessons, the reflections, the challenges, and the triumphs, they converge here. Dangerous confidence is not a fleeting feeling, it is a state of being, a relentless commitment to step fully into your power, your truth, and your purpose, without hesitation, without apology. To live dangerously confident is to walk boldly into life while carrying a heart that is unshakable. It is to embrace risk with discernment, knowing that growth is forged in discomfort and mastery is born in the willingness to move forward despite fear. It is to understand that failure is not your enemy, but a teacher, a mirror that shows you what you must refine, what you must release, and what you are capable of achieving. Consider the people you admire most. They did not reach their pinnacle by waiting for permission or seeking approval. They carved their path through audacity, clarity, and unrelenting self-belief. Dangerous confidence is what allowed them to turn challenges into catalysts, doubt into fuel, and obstacles into stepping stones. But make no mistake, this form of confidence is not arrogance. It is not entitlement. It is not the loud declaration of "I am better than you." True, dangerous confidence is quiet, yet commanding. It is calm in the storm, steady in the chaos, and unmovable in the face of opposition. It radiates from the inside out, not from external validation. Living dangerously confident begins with self-mastery. You must know yourself in ways that go beyond surface awareness. Your strength, your weaknesses, your triggers, your limits, all of it. Because without self-knowledge, confidence becomes fragile, brittle, and easily shaken. With it, confidence becomes a shield, a compass, and a sword. Next comes purpose. Dangerous confidence is meaningless without direction. It is the alignment of energy with intention, action with vision, and belief with commitment. When you know why you move, what you stand for, and where you are headed, confidence becomes unstoppable. It is no longer a feeling that ebbs and flows. It is a force that drives every decision, every step, and every interaction. Let's talk about fear. Fear is inevitable, unavoidable, and necessary. It is the signpost that indicates you are on the edge of growth. Dangerous confidence does not eliminate fear. It embraces it, transforms it, and uses it as a guide. It whispers, "I feel the fear, and I will move forward anyway." This is what separates the timid from the unstoppable. Action is the lifeblood of dangerous confidence. Thinking, planning, and wishing are meaningless without execution. Confidence is not proven in intention. It is proven in bold, consistent, and deliberate action. Each step you take toward your goals, no matter how small, compounds into momentum. Each choice made with integrity strengthens the unshakable foundation of your presence and power. Equally important is resilience. Life will challenge you, push you, and test you in ways you cannot anticipate. Dangerous confidence is the ability to remain steadfast when circumstances threaten to topple you. It is the quiet refusal to give in to doubt, the inner voice that whispers, "I will rise again, stronger, wiser, and more aligned than before." Relationships are transformed by dangerous confidence. You attract people who respect your boundaries, value your presence, and resonate with your energy. You no longer tolerate mediocrity or manipulation. Instead, you cultivate connections that are authentic, empowering, and mutually enriching. Your confidence is magnetic, yet humble, assertive, yet compassionate. And finally, there is legacy. Living dangerously confident is about more than personal achievement. It is about the impact you leave, the lives you influence, and the courage you inspire in others. It is knowing that by embodying unshakable confidence, you light a path for others to follow, not because they must, but because they see the power of possibility realized in a human being, fully awake. So how do you step fully into this life? Start with commitment. Decide, without hesitation, that from this moment forward, you will no longer shrink, apologize, or seek external validation. You will honor your intuition, trust your abilities, and act with integrity in every situation. Next, practice self-alignment daily. Check your thoughts, calibrate your energy, and ensure that your actions match your intentions. Presence, courage, and authenticity are cultivating continuously, not occasionally. Embrace fear as a companion, not a foe. Use it as a compass, pointing toward growth, toward expansion, toward the unknown that holds your greatest potential. Take action, consistently and deliberately. Even small steps forward compound into unstoppable momentum. Even when you stumble, recover with grace, learn with clarity, and move forward with renewed determination. And finally, reflect. Each day, each experience, each challenge is a lesson. Honor the journey, celebrate progress, recognize your evolution, and remember, confidence is not a destination. It is a lifelong practice, a living embodiment, a conscious choice made moment by moment. As this audiobook comes to its conclusion, I want you to feel the gravity of what you've learned. You are no longer the person who hesitates in the shadows, who doubts their own worth, or waits for permission. You are a force, you are presence, you are alignment, action, resilience, and purpose in motion. The world will notice. Opportunities will rise to meet you. Challenges will bend under your clarity and resolve, and most importantly, you will know, deep in your bones, that you are living fully, unshakable, undeniable, and dangerously confident. Carry this truth with you always. Confidence is not given. It is forged. It is embodied. It is lived. Step forward, own your power, and let the world feel the unstoppable presence of someone who knows, without question, exactly who they are. This is dangerous confidence. This is your life, and it starts now.